guys, Running Kimono here. So today's video, we're going to be talking about a host of items and when they expire. Stuff that expires with the dates, where to find it on the products, and to answer more questions about expired products. Stuff that might not necessarily have an expiry date, stuff that never has an expiry date, and stuff with a chemical called hydrogen peroxide that you have to kind of cut it loose, donate it, use it within a time frame, or the products might actually leak out of either the tube or these bottles, and I'm going to show you an example of that. So yeah, just a lot of you asked the same question in the comments, like, hey, how long? So I'm going to answer some of this today, and I'm going to show you some of these products. And you know, maybe you'll learn something, or maybe you'll teach me something in the comments. And this is just my own thing. I'm not a product specialist, or I work for one of these manufacturers. It's just somebody who's been couponing for 10 years, and I've looked at this, and some products I'm going to just share with you the fact that I wouldn't use it past the expiry date. And I know there are people that would say the opposite, but this is just my own preference, so I'm just throwing that out there as well. So the first thing that we have is one of these Germex, and I recently picked this up last weekend, and I was like, whoa, hand sanitizer. And it's on the back here, and hopefully it's focusing. And as you can see, it expires April 2022. Now, with that, with something like this, I think it will lose its potency. You probably can use it 6 months post, but will it be good 6 years from now? It probably won't be as strong. It'll still work, but it won't be, you know, killing all the germs and stuff. So that's why, you know, it still has a good long 2-year shelf life, but just throwing it out there that this is one product, you know, I wouldn't use maybe 6 months post expiry date. The next one that we have is this Head and Shoulders shampoo. Now, anything with a medical grade shampoo, it has, you know, medicine ingredients in it that have a shelf life. And if you look right here, this guy expires February of 2021, and this is a little conditioner by Head and Shoulders. So, you know, it does have a shelf life on it. And again, it will not be as potent, say, you know, in the middle of 2023, in March possibly. You could still use it, but will it be as potent? That's remains to be determined. So, gonna look at some medications now. We have this little Robitussin. This is one item I will not mess with. If it's expired, I'm not going to use it, and that's just my own, you know, thoughts on that. And the expiry date is right here, August of 2021. So it has a good long expiry date. And never overindulge in this, because this can really hit you. I remember years back when I used to weigh like 40 pounds, there was nothing to me. Lifetime dieter here, I drank a couple cups of this and I was like in outer space. So just always be careful, follow the portions and all that stuff. And my favorite, this allergy medication, you can either find it at the Dollar Tree, Walmart, or General, believe it or not. And the expiry date for this one is, where is it? March of 2021. There it is. Some Excedrin headache medication for migraines. And December of 2021. Interesting story about this product. It's jumped about $1 in price since last year. Don't think that we haven't noticed Excedrin, but it used to be dirt cheap, and now it's a little more expensive than dirt. So we are on to you. The odd time this medication too, you possibly can find it at the Dollar Tree. And it's live. And now we have some Vaseline Eczema Calming, and this guy expires in January of 2022, and it's right at the top here. Fun story for you guys, I actually had an eczema breakout last winter, and I've never had one in my adult life, and it was really bad. And this stuff, I was going to gift it to my mom, but I was so happy to have it in my stockpile because I used it, and it was a really great product. Deodorant, this usually has, I don't know, like a 1 to 2 year shelf span. This is a dry spray that I really like, and the expiry date is in the back here. And so it's expiring July of this year, so I better use the rest of this. And this stuff I probably would use 6 months post. It's always great too. Toothpaste. And it's right here on the side. So this expires October of 2021. Always check that, especially if you're buying a lot, say at Walgreens. You don't want to buy a bunch of expired toothpaste, so you want the fresher stuff. And we have this little crest. August of 2022. So as you can see, these expiry dates are like, you know, scattered throughout the boxes, but they're there for certain products that they have to put them on there. And now let's look at mouthwash. So we have this little Biotine, and it's right here on the back. So that would be September of 2021. And Listerine, it's always right here on this black thing. So January of 2022. Now these sorts of products like mouth rinses, maybe I would use it 6 months. Again, it won't be as potent, so you probably want to use it in that 2-year range or 1-year range or whatever it is. So these are some good products with dates that you really have to pay attention to. And if you are going to really overbuy or just fill your stockpile with it, you pay attention that your expiry dates are, you know, 2 to 3 years out there, or you buy less, which is also okay. Now let's talk about some products that don't have expiry dates and some of my opinions on them. And this sort of stuff too, if you're going to stock up a whole bunch of it, especially like a Lysol wipe or like this makeup wipe, it could possibly dry out in time. Now what I've noticed about makeup wipes, they have the code and the factory of where it's been assembled and the date that it was assembled, but I can't decipher an expiry date off of that. What I have noticed is that over time, say I would keep this for a really long time, the sticker would start puckering and it would start like opening up. Now they might dry out. I can always put a little bit of water in there and reuse them, but something like this one is to remove waterproof mascara. So the problem with that is how potent is that the compound for that is going to be if I keep this in my stockpile for 10 years. So that's just a little food for thought. So I would definitely try and use this within, you know, a year or so. And then if that sticker starts lifting, that's when you know you have to use it sooner than later. Now something like a regular shampoo, they do have a mark at the bottom of like the factory and all that stuff, but that's not an expiry date. It's just that if you had a problem with the product, you could read that code off. And the manufacturer of this could probably find the plant, the shift, all that stuff with that information. But there is no expiry date on this. And that's how most of the shampoos look like. If your shampoo starts like it leaking, or if it starts puffing out the plastic, which it's done, or caps popping or hissing, probably time to let it go. But if you're gonna get like, you know, 600 Pantene shampoos, you better have an idea of what you're doing with that. If you're donating all of it, reselling it, or if you're gonna use a bottle every day for the next 2 years, like be intentional with your shopping, because the last thing you want is for a bunch of stuff to expire or to like just explode in your stockpile. Now this little lotion, we talked about an eczema Vaseline. This one does not have an expiry date. It has this handy dandy thing at the bottom. It says right here, made in Canada, and there's also a lineup here of the manufacturing, but nothing more than that. So this I would probably keep for maybe 2 years, and then after that, like donate it or give it to somebody if I'm not going to use it. But I tend to use lotion all year long, so I usually am always on the hunt for this. My favorite is the unscented Jergen, more than this one. Bar soap or body wash, I would say it has about a 2-year lifespan, even though there is no expiry date on this guy. My thoughts on this is it, you know, because it is going on your skin and certain, you know, areas of your body that you want stuff that isn't like 6 years expired on. I would just be careful with that. Sometimes body wash too, if you keep it for a really long time, it'll start becoming like a cottage cheese consistency, like just clumping up a lot. And of course you don't want to use that on your body. I wouldn't. So I'm going to say it probably has a 2-year span. Do the math. What are you going to use this for? Do you use one a month? Would you use all of these in a month? How many people are in your household? Do you give this away? Are you going to do something with it? You know, you have to be intentional of what you want to do with your stockpile, but there it is. Now the last 2 products that we're going to talk about are the Lysol wipes and the Lysol trigger sprays. Now I have 3 cats, and this is something that we go through a lot because we're always picking up or cleaning up after them. This is one product that I always try to stock up a lot on, because if you have cats and you're cleaning up after them, this is also excellent for picking up cat fur up off the, like of a couch or something like that. Or if they have like a cat condo, you use one of these and you can get all the cat hair completely off. There is no expiry date on this. I mean, I think there is a date of manufacturing. It says November 2021, so maybe that's it. But often, you know, if I'm just gonna like clean a sofa or something like that, I could add a little bit of water and use this. Right now, I mean, these are a hot commodity. That's nothing short of a brick of gold. But I do have quite a few of these in my stockpile because of the amount of cats that we have. This is also another product that I really enjoy. And I usually try and keep a couple of them. There is no expiry date on this guy either, but with cleaning the house, I like the smell of lemons. We all have our favorite. Is it lavender? Is it a lemon? Is it a lime? Like, what do you prefer? But this is just something I've always enjoyed. So, but it doesn't have an expiry date. But I've noticed with some Lysol products, with hydrogen peroxide specifically, they will puff out. This does not have the hydrogen peroxide additive in either one of these, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'm gonna show you something here in a quick second of products with hydrogen peroxide and how things can puff out. But these I probably would keep for 2 years, and even if these dried out, I would still find a use for them. But I use one, even without what's going on right now, like where I have to wipe down every package and grocery that comes into the house, I probably would, even if it expired or dried out, I'd put some water in it, you know, just to clean some business off the floor, or, you know, a messy sofa with some cat fur, you know. You could still do something with it and get creative. Okay guys, so these are 3 products with hydrogen peroxide. And what I've noticed with hydrogen peroxide, and even if all this stuff is absolutely free, what will happen over time is that if you keep the stuff in your house over a long period of time, it will start puffing out like this. You see how that's sort of like puffed out? So there is something in this that is an active ingredient. Let's see if it hisses if I open it up. No, it's just the plastic's puffed out a lot. So there's something in this that, you know, it's still full of product, but it's very good for cleaning, especially if you have hard water. But because of the hydrogen peroxide, this probably has a 1 to 1.5 year lifespan in your stockpile. If you're trying to keep this in your stockpile for like 6 years, it's gonna either explode or the cap will pop off, and I've seen that before, or something weird could happen. It could start spilling out of the plastic or something like that. So this, you really gotta keep your eye on if you're gonna buy it. The same thing is with this Colgate Optic White. It has all this whitening powers, and hydrogen peroxide is one of the ingredients inside of it. And I've noticed that expired tubes of this puff out and then they start leaking. And I had about 5 or 10 of these leak, I think last fall, and it was like me making a crazy video saying my life is ruined. But it's deeply annoying. But this is also my favorite toothpaste, so I have to use it right away. And then the hydrogen peroxide right here, the date is back here. I don't even know if you can see that, but it's March of 2021, and it's written really tiny. But this sort of stuff, even when you can get it for free, I would just get like 4 or 5, probably give one to my mom, my mother-in-law, and a couple for our household. That's it. Because if you're gonna get like 70 of these, hey, guess what guys? It expires quickly, and there's only a certain amount of use for it. Like you can't, you know, a little bit goes a long way. I know that back in the day that people used to use that for mouthwash. Mrs. Empty Nester actually shared that with me, which is quite interesting. But some of these larger bottles, you probably only need really a couple for your stockpile, unless you were going to be, you know, donating a bunch, or it was some sort of like massive money maker or Walgreens. But everything that's said and done, everything that's been going on lately, I would only probably grab a couple, even if it was free right now, because everybody's using this for cleaning and to make sure that their house is sanitary and clean and stuff. But it's a great cleaner too. I've even used this to clean off stovetops. So it says to use as a gargle or rinse for treatment of minor cuts and abrasions. So there you have that. So anyhow, just a little food for thought on stuff with hydrogen peroxide. Okay guys, so the last thing that we have are items that have no expiry date, and this is my absolute favorite. So you can put as much of this stuff as you want in your stockpile and it will never go bad, including Swiffer dryer cloths, this sort of stuff. Sometimes at the Dollar General with a clearance event and a $2 coupon, you can get this for pennies. Of course, the box may pucker and do weird things, but the product is fine. Just like toilet paper, if you have a dehumidifier or those little packs from the Dollar Tree, there's always a way to keep your toilet paper nice and fresh. So these are 2 items that, you know, paper products that you can keep till the end of time. With that, tampons, they never go bad. Of course, you have to keep it in like a controlled room. Like if you're keeping it in a garage and it's 100 degrees every day and then it freezes in the winter, these things might not last. But if you keep it in a basement, you know, in a cool, dry space, they'll probably last a really long time for you. And you can stock up a lot on that. And pads. Razors are another thing that you can get a ton of, and I mean, they never go bad. They're contained away from the dust and the, you know, all of the gross stuff, and it'll last a really long time. Keep it in a Sterilite tote and you will have it for a long time. And then toothbrushes and dental floss, you know, keep it in a nice container. You can have it for a really long time as well. And whenever these things are free, you know, it's a deal that we'll go really hard on. It's sealed, it's contained, and it's something that you'll probably always need. Even if you stop couponing, if you had, say, 20 toothbrushes in your stockpile, you'll probably use them in the next many years. So anyhow, just an idea of some items that don't expire. So hopefully you guys have found this video somewhat interesting. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.